Hello, it's Courtney with balancewithcourtney.com. I am passionate about helping others discover their happy and inspire them to make it a daily habit. My intention is to hack happy by interviewing experts to share their story and to inspire others and create a happy movement. Today's happy expert is Catherine Liggett. Catherine Liggett is a shadow worker. She sees clients in person and remotely, teaches online courses, and holds workshops in the Seattle area. She also facilitates the lively intuitive development and practice group Intuitive Jam. Welcome, Catherine.
Hey, Courtney. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here too. And I would love you to first start out by talking about your Intuitive Jam, because I had the honor of being able to join a couple times before I moved.
Yay. Yeah, the Intuitive Jam is a group that's really close to my heart. It's a meetup, so you can find it on meetup.com. And we're about 20 to 25 people who meet every month in the Fremont neighborhood of Seattle. And what we do is very structured. We do very short introductions. What's your name? Why do you want to be here? And then we go into very short mindfulness meditation to get on the same page. And then comes the segment that makes us a jam, which is anybody can ask a question, anybody can give an answer for which they get an intuitive hit. And it's just remarkably beautiful, the wisdom that comes out of everyone, especially those who might not think that they're intuitive, even though, of course, we're all intuitive.
Right.
So everybody just experiences so much deep validation of their own innate wisdom, regardless of how they might have identified before. And everyone also leaves with some really heartfelt wisdom to take in and receive themselves. So there's laughing, there's tears. It's a space where everybody can be their whole authentic selves, because for most of us, we hide our innate wisdom.
Right. Yeah, I remember experiencing that, and I remember some people giving me their intuitive hits on what I was struggling with. And it did make sense to me at the time, but it's like anything. You walk away a couple days later, it's like, oh, that's what they were talking about. So it's very powerful. And, just keeping an open heart and being open to whatever just because someone says something doesn't mean it's for you. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm very passionate about teaching a little bit about intuition as well, like what is intuition versus projection versus advice giving, and also to leave people completely free that whatever they receive that doesn't empower them isn't for them.
Yes. I love how you put it that way. That is so true. Huh.
Yeah.
How many times does someone say something to us and we think it's truth just because they said it?
I know. Well, that's our conditioning. That's our childhood conditioning, right? Is that, and actually also through becoming literate, we're brought up to think that the wisdom is out there. The wisdom is from the parents or the professors through the way that we're schooled, right? Not just professors, but teachers throughout our lives. Yeah. And then the wisdom is in the book, but it's like anywhere other than within us. And so I'm really passionate about helping people to undo that childhood conditioning and retrain ourselves to look for it within first and foremost.
Oh, wonderful. So what's beautiful about that is what a beautiful step to find your happy. Working with you, working through all your shadow work, and then you can find your true self, what makes you happy.
Yes.
Awesome. So let's get started. Please share with everyone how you found your happy.
I found my happy by being myself and by learning more and more what that meant for me, which is, I think, it's really a lifelong journey of getting to know ourselves. It's like why we take a body. It's why we incarnate, I believe is to know ourselves. Right. And so I had the good fortune to have a mom who was spiritual and who was really, she had a value of authenticity. And so she allowed me to dress the way I wanted, play with dinosaurs. I was gender nonconforming when I was little, all up through the age of 11 or 12. and really dramatically gender nonconforming. Like I had like this mullet that I liked to like spike up with like gel in the front, and I wear these baggy like dinosaur t-shirts all the time, like custom printed dinosaur t-shirts like my mom would do. And I was very hugely blessed as well to go to a private school that was kind of progressive and artsy. So that gave me the freedom to be myself at that early age. And then I went to public school in 4th grade and was severely bullied basically from there on out. And then I started to conform more out of survival, basically. Yeah. And that was really horrific. But what I realized is that even though I was free in a lot of ways to be myself in kind of external ways, I was also experiencing emotional neglect, like I believe 99% of human beings do on this planet. I'm here to help human beings reclaim, first and foremost, their happy through simply feeling validated in how they feel, that what they feel is okay, because we've, at least for the last few centuries, I don't know about before that, but for the last few centuries, human beings have not known what to do with emotions. And they're just kind of these aberrant things that come upon us, and they've been equated to the devil, especially like lustful, desirous, sexual emotions, anything relating to the body. Our emotions are in the body, so we've gone through many centuries of vilifying emotions, and because our parents were raised with this emotional abuse, they very, very sometimes benignly pass it on to us. So an example would be like, even if the best mother in the world, let's say, says to her child, like little boy, let's say, who's crying, she'll say to him, "Oh, I'll make you your favorite dinner so you feel better." Like she could have the best intentions, but underlying that is actually, let's make this feeling go away.
Yes.
Which makes the little boy think and believe that there's something bad about his feelings, crying, grief. And then we internalize that hugely, and then we take that into adulthood so that we don't feel safe having feelings.
Right.
So the shadow is defined first by Carl Jung in the early 19th or 20th century. He defined the shadow as basically everything that we have to repress in childhood to stay safe. So for most of us, our emotions, the so-called negative emotions, are the majority of our shadow. Like we simply don't know what to do with them. We don't know how to have relationships and have feelings at the same time. We don't know how to be happy and also have emotions like anger. And whereas actually, like to my mind, being truly happy means being comfortable with everything that you are, very much including those so-called negative or challenging emotions.
Right.
And we can't really be authentically happy without accepting all of ourselves, which includes all of that.
Right.
So accepting all of that, those shadow elements. So to circle back to my childhood, I realized that even though I had, and my mom, like our parents do the best that they can with what they're able to do. And so I've gone through many, many years of therapy and shadow work on myself. But it's like, even though she allowed me to be free in the ways that she knew how to be free, there was in the most fundamental ways, I was still a prisoner of myself. I was still a prisoner in my own heart because I wasn't free to be me all the way. I wasn't free, for example, to have like dissenting opinions. I wasn't free to get angry. I wasn't free to be sad. I wasn't, because, I was raised by 2 Libras with Virgo rising. I am a Virgo with Libra rising.
Wow.
You know something about that. We had to keep everything very harmonious, very like together. Everything's perfect here in this beautiful suburban family, when actually there was just, the air was seething with anger and just unexpressed, repressed emotion. And that's what I felt my whole life. So that's actually how I developed the gifts, the psychic gifts that I have, which really revolve around seeing the shadow in others, seeing what others have learned to repress their whole life, and thus being able to help facilitate them reclaim exactly those things.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Wow. Can I ask you a question specifically about your family?
Absolutely.
When you started to do your shadow work and really embody who you were, how did that work with the family dynamic? You know what I mean? It's like when one person's growing and they get to know who they truly are, how does the family around them adjust? And do they grow too? Or is your family pretty much the same they were when you were a child?
Well, I didn't start really living my shadow work until I was out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started doing my own shadow work when I was 15, when it really came to me through a series of nightmares, like the most gory, gruesome nightmares anybody could have, which I don't need to go into, but like I had these series of intensely grotesque, ultra-violent nightmares that freaked my mom out, that freaked this Libra Virgo rising out.
Yeah.
These were not nice.
Mm-hmm.
They were the opposite of nice. And my mom, again, hugely blessed to be able to do this, but she brought me to a Jungian dream analyst. And that was the first time I heard the word the shadow. However, it didn't help me at all the way that she used it. It was like this abstraction, you know?
Right.
It was this abstract concept. It had no tie-in to my actual life, to practical reality. And so I innately knew what to do to process the shadow. And that was, I just knew that I needed to paint these dream images. I needed to get close to them. I needed to give them loving attention. And so like in my mom's house to this day, there's like all these gory paintings that I did when I was a teenager, you know, to embrace these nightmares. And sure enough, when I painted these nightmares and just really like every detail of these bodies, and they went away.
Wow.
And so I came into this world with the knowing to approach fear, you know, that the way to overcome fear is actually to love it and accept it completely. And so that's the whole basis of how I've healed myself in my life, is to move towards and through with loving attention whatever we find challenging, whatever we find scary, instead of trying to fix it or move it away. So I started doing that when I was 15, but I was addicted to overachieving. That was my drug of choice and how I felt worthy. Like that was my ego identity, my conscious persona, where I did feel safe and I felt socially accepted. And so I was hyper academic and intellectual, and I went to a very rigorous college, and I got a full-time faculty position when I was 25 and at Oregon State University. And I was there for 6 years teaching German and German studies. And I was doing like astrology readings, like underground on the side.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But my ego identity was still very much like, yeah, I'm a highly sensitive person. I tend to attract people who are wounded, who want my help. I love giving astrology readings, but yet I was all like, I can't make money doing that. Like, I have to have a real job. I have to have a respected job, you know?
Right. Oh.
So it wasn't until then that I started getting really weird and really happy. After I left academia.
I love it. Embrace your weird, for sure.
Yes.
So could you talk to others about how you maintain your happy and make it a daily habit?
Yeah. I maintain my happy by being really intimate with myself at all times. And what I mean by that is really close to myself, really aware of what my body is feeling, what emotions are coming up, giving myself time every morning to record dreams that I have, and just record whatever is coming through. I do get a lot of divine messages in the morning. Like I wake up with divine messages that I write down, in my journal. And that's my main practice. Like I meditate sometimes when I feel called to it. I'm not somebody like, I spent 10 years having a very rigid Buddhist meditation practice. And I realized that was just another way of me being academic and like shoulding myself. Like I should do this. It was not part of my happy. So I just meditate when I feel like it now, but it's that intimacy with myself on a daily basis that keeps me, I feel like I'm my own partner. I'm my own greatest support. It's self-love, right?
Yeah, you bet it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So those mornings when you wake up and you're struggling, what are some things you do to help you align and really connect with yourself again and be in a happy place?
Mm-hmm. I feel my feelings. I feel my feelings if I'm, one of the things I love to do is to go out to my car and yell or scream at the top of my lungs.
There you go.
The car is I find a safe place to do that. I'm not somebody who likes screaming into a pillow. I think some people do that, but to me, I don't feel like, I love hearing how loud my voice can be. And so I just like let it go in the car. I move around. I do weird dances in my house. Like I just get it out of my body. I've been a dancer for many years. So like I'm used to just like using my body as a mode of expression. So that's a natural way that I do it. I journal. I do free writing, including really what one might call awful writing, like just being really, mean, angry, saying terrible things.
Not censored.
Freely judging whoever I'm judging, like just in my journal with, just like you said, uncensored.
Yeah.
And I find that when I fully express whatever is arising, it always changes.
So feel your feelings, acknowledge what they are, and get them out.
Oh, wait, not get them out. Love and accept them completely.
So screaming, that's not a form of getting them out?
I don't think of it as a way to get them out.
Help me understand screaming.
Yeah. So screaming, what I'm doing when I'm screaming is I'm completely becoming whatever character or whatever like rage figure. I'm very visual. So I imagine like I am like, for example, this huge rage monster who's like fiery and red. And I just think to myself, what if I were right now to completely embody this rage monster? And then I amplify that and I amplify that and I amplify it more. And I just become this, I fill the room, I fill the city block, I fill the city, I fill the planet with this rage monster. And so I find the language in the spiritual community of releasing or clearing or, and there's just so many ways, like we
letting go.
Yeah. But I find that for most people in the Western world, especially for women, we've spent so much time perfecting ourselves and shooting ourselves that a lot of the times this spiritual language of let it go or release it, we map it onto this pre-existing program of I'm not good enough as I am. And the real healing takes place when we completely and utterly become and accept fully whatever that thing is that society might say it's bad, like the angry woman, for example, is a trope that we've all been shamed for,
Yeah.
And it always, without fail, when I absolutely fully embody whatever is coming through, I end up with wisdom and like just enlightened awareness at the end. And I've learned something amazing about myself. So it's like not even just releasing something, it's gaining something so profound from that full expression.
Well, it's almost like you're listening to a part of you that you haven't let speak.
The shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And those, when what we find negative or scary, we think those are voices that we don't want to visit, right? Because everything that we should feel is is, what do they say? Flowers and butterflies, right?
Yeah.
So, wow, I got to sit with that. That's, So I can go in my back room and scream, and Kat can say, what are you doing? I'm feeling my feelings, hon.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh. And I love the dancing. And you know that about me. It's definitely something that I don't do enough, and you brought that out in me and inspired me. Yeah, just turn the music on and move.
Yes, it's such a lost art in these European influence cultures, you know?
Yes, yes. So please give our fans one last piece of advice, something for others out there that are struggling, that they can find some light.
So my piece of advice I want everybody to know is you can't do life wrong.
Wow. Mic drop. We can just stop this right here. You can't do anything wrong.
Well, you can't do life wrong because most of us, I think, especially women, again, are paralyzed by fear and worry, anxiety about, like, gosh, even in the spiritual community, hugely, right? Like, I'm not this enough yet. I'm not that enough yet. I have to do this before I do that. I have to do this workshop or this book before I'm this, level on the spiritual hierarchy, which I could lecture about for hours why I think that's BS. But, but you really can't do it wrong. You're here. You chose this life, this body, all of the things that are happening. And you're always going to learn, even if you don't have that particular metaphysical belief that you chose this reality. You're always going to learn. And there's, like Oprah herself, the great Oprah says, like, there is no failure. There's only a redirection. There's only, like, the river just gets redirected somewhere else.
Right. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So many people are going to get so much out of this. Thank you very, very much for sharing your inspiration, your techniques, your habits, just you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Courtney. It's been a huge pleasure.
Yes. Will you please tell everyone how they can reach out to you and get to know you? And I heard you have an upcoming workshop.
I do have an upcoming online class. It's my popular Shadow Work 101 class. It always sells out really fast. I just opened registration for it. So it's a 5-week online class. It's live. So we meet on Zoom once a week. It's going to be Monday evenings starting January 7th, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Wonderful.
And it's just, you can go to my website to learn more about it. There's tons of student testimonials. There's because I am a former professor, there's a full syllabus you can download where you see exactly what we're doing every week. And it dives very deep into the mother relationship, the father relationship, sexuality in the body, money, and personal power are different weekly topics. And it's just it's always an amazing group of people who's just really dedicated to knowing themselves, and people seem to get a lot out of it. And so the early bird price for that is just $250 for 7.5 hours of live instruction and lots of resources and weekly assignments that take you to the deepest part of yourself. And that early bird price ends on December 7th. When it'll become $295 instead of $250. So there's just 5 spaces left in the Monday night class. And I cap it at 10. So go register. And so you can go to the website, CatherineLiggett.com. It's CATHERINE and then LIGGETT.com for information on that class, or for private sessions with me, or to read articles I've written, or my YouTube channel. There's a lot of stuff there, and you can contact me there too.
Perfect. And then just go to Meetup to find your group if they're in the Seattle area.
Yes, meetup.com, and just search for Intuitive Jam, and we meet in Seattle.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Thank you, Courtney. This was really fun.
Yes, it was. Thank you for taking your time for us and for your growth. I hope you discovered new habits to support your happiness. Please reach out with questions, or if you need more support, at Happy Balance Facebook group or balancewithcourtney.com. If you need one-on-one inspiration and support, please book a happy call. I am here to help. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye.